You won. Let's start there. Game 1 gave you everything you wanted. Knicks cover. Over cashes. Brunson looked like a surgeon. The garden roared. The apps flashed green. It felt easy. And that's exactly how hell scripts it. Because when the crowd celebrates a win, the devil sharpens his knife. Not for your money, for your memory. He wants you to think you're learning, when really, you're being programmed. Game 2. Same gym, same actors, same trap. The line rises, the total inflates, and over 90% of the world says, let's run it back. But you're not here for echo bets. You're here for clarity. I've watched this game play out 1,000 ways. I once trusted a hot hand. It burned me. That's when I stopped betting emotions and started reading blueprints. Let's read this one. In Game 1, Knicks shot 53% from the floor. Pistons hit 47% from 3, on the road. Combined, 235 total points. Vegas didn't punish you, they offered more rope. Now, total set at 221.5. The public piles on the over again. Cade won't shoot like that twice. Knicks, already up 1-0. Control mode, not chaos mode. Detroit averages 37.3% from 3 on the road. They shot 47% in Game 1. That's not a pattern, that's an illusion, that's not a trend, that's bait. And every trend chaser tonight is stepping into the same snare. You don't build wealth on highlight reels. You build it on restraint. Look deeper. Knicks at home this year have averaged 118 points per game. They're not afraid of pace. But the Pistons aren't here to score 112 again. They shot well, and still lost by 11. When a team shoots that efficiently and still falls short, they don't bounce back. They shrink. The path to ruin is wide. And many will enter it. But you already walked through fire last game. You cashed. You listened. So now the question is, will you follow wisdom? Or follow the noise? The public wants the over. The public wants the replay. But God doesn't repeat miracles for gamblers. He gives clarity to soldiers. The play is under 222.5. Final score, Knicks 112. Pistons 109. Total, 221. Just under, not a guess, a warning. Because tonight isn't about profit. It's about memory control. And tomorrow, when the line moves again, most will chase ghosts.
You feel that, Elvis? That twitch in the air? That little itch behind the ears that says, they're betting the same thing twice. They saw Game 1, overtime, elevation, Jokic doing his floaty lumberjack ballet, Clippers nearly stole it, Harden danced. Kawhi glided, Denver survived, and now, the book flips the line, Clippers, won. You know what this is, don't you? It's not a correction, it's choreography. Whoever's scripting this moves better than any coach I've ever met. They think it's bounce-back logic. They think the book's adjusted. But we both know the truth. The line didn't shift because of respect. It shifted because of memory decay. They forgot who blinked first. Denver didn't shoot well, still won. LA shot better, still lost. But the public? They didn't see margin. They saw momentum. They think LA figured it out. That Harden's dialed in. That Kawhi's locked. But we saw the strain, Elvis. We saw the overtime legs. We saw Denver absorb every punch and still walk out with the W. Tell me, when the stats favor the loser, the line favors the loser, and the money favors the loser, what are we really betting? Narrative. And narrative is for addicts. They say turnovers cost LA the game. Fine. Fix them. But what do you do about altitude? About 40 minutes logged? About a team that spent everything and still came up short? You don't coach that out. You carry it. And Denver? They didn't panic. They just endured. That's what scares me. That kind of calm usually cracks late, not early. So if they're still steady in the fourth tonight, the bounce-back crowd might learn what silence really sounds like. Turnovers are fixable. Fatigue fades. But the memory of being that close, that lives in the legs. Look at the splits. 55% of bets on the Clippers. 64% of the money. Quiet weight. Professional fingerprints. And still, the number just sits there. Doesn't climb. Doesn't dip. That's how you know it's sharp. It's already doing its job. Baiting the ones who think they saw something real in Game 1. And what about the total? Down to 217.5. 90% of the money on the over, again. They saw the 222 in overtime and forgot what regulation looked like. They forgot what pace Denver controls. But you and I? We remember. Because Game 1 wasn't revelation. It was rehearsal. I hate it. But I respect it. Clippers, 1. We don't celebrate. We log it. Because the second we start to feel clever, that's when the floor opens and the fire comes through. Let them bet emotion. Let them bet revenge. Let them bet noise. We bet restraint. Let's go watch 'em sweat. Malachi out.
Lilith speaking now. 2 games. 2 decisions. But every choice pointed to one thing: clarity over chaos. Game 1 Pistons vs. Knicks. The I pick was UNDER 222.5, not because it was trendy, but because it was true. The pace was slow. The pressure high. The public screaming over. Detroit came in hot. But New York doesn't chase, they contain. They strangle pace. They anchor chaos. The final score flirted with danger, but never crossed the line. Because that line was never meant to be tested, it was meant to be trusted. You didn't follow the fire, you followed the stillness. And that stillness cashed. Then came Game 2 Clippers vs. Nuggets. The I pick was Clippers 1.5 after the overtime loss. The market flipped. Tyronn Lue didn't panic. He adjusted. The books respected that, and so did the ones who saw the pattern. Denver didn't fold. But the edge wasn't in stats. It was in memory. In body language. In discipline. The world chased a bounce back over. You chased the weight of film, legs, and closing value. And again it landed. Because you didn't bet emotion. You bet formation. You bet stillness. You bet what the numbers couldn't scream but whispered. That's what separates watchers from warriors. You didn't need a heater. You needed a plan. And tonight, you didn't get lucky. You got aligned. So here's what you do next: like, subscribe. Not because this was perfect, but because it was clean. Because when the rest of the world is chasing momentum, you stood still and saw through it. This isn't about picks. This is about spiritual posture. It's about waking up inside a system designed to keep you leaning. But you stood tall. Under 222.5 Pistons and Knicks. Clippers 1.5 against Denver. 2 traps. 2 exits. And 1 voice, clear in the static. You're not just watching. You're walking. You didn't join this channel for trends. You joined it to remember who you are when the noise gets loud. The world will talk tomorrow. They'll say the picks were easy. They'll say, I saw it coming. But you and I know better. You didn't move because of confidence. You moved because of clarity. That's the difference between gamblers and soldiers. Gamblers chase streaks. Soldiers follow orders. You followed the pattern. You didn't blink. You didn't brag. And that's why you're still standing. This isn't about one night. This is about training your eyes so when the real traps come, you're not caught off guard. Tonight was a test. Tomorrow might be war. But if you keep your eyes fixed not on emotion, not on momentum, but on the quiet rhythm underneath the chaos, then you will not be moved. We'll be back. With new voices, new patterns, and new traps to decode. But until then, walk quiet. Cash slow. And don't forget who you are. Lilith out.